All right, good morning. It is 11:30, which is our meeting start time. We're still waiting for a few members of the committee to arrive, but while we wait, I'm going to go through our preamble and the meeting rules and procedures. So this is the April 17th, 2025 meeting of the Historic Ohio City Design Review Advisory Committee. Virtual meeting regulations and procedures. Actions during the meeting will be taken by roll call vote. Recusal due to a conflict of interest should be stated for the record prior to the start of any presentation. The recused committee member will then leave the meeting for the duration of the case discussion. The chair will call the meeting to order and ask for a roll call of the committee. Then the administrator will introduce the first project. The meeting will then be turned over to the applicant to proceed through their presentation. Each presentation should be completed prior to questions and comments from the committee. And once the presentation is concluded, the administrator will provide any background information and read any received public comment. The committee will then begin deliberation and project review. Please use the raised hand feature if you'd like to speak. After deliberations and review concludes, the committee will render its recommendation and/or motion. The applicant may leave the meeting at any point after which their project has been reviewed. All projects will follow the same format until all projects are heard by the committee. Once all projects are heard, the chair will call for any committee/administrator reports. After all reports have been heard, the chair will adjourn the meeting. Regarding community comments, any and all community members may provide their written comments, thoughts, or questions regarding projects presented to the committee. Community members may also telephone their comments or questions to the committee administrator. All comments, thoughts, or questions must be submitted to the committee administrator no later than 48 hours prior to the start of the meeting. Public comment received after the deadline will not be heard by the committee. Public comment will be collected by Landmark staff and sent to the committee members for review prior to the scheduled meeting. Then Landmark staff will summarize the received comments during the meeting. The applicant of the project is under no obligation to answer any community questions. Community members are invited to attend the Design Review Advisory Committee meetings, but there will be no open public comment period. Regarding design review guidelines, all projects are being reviewed using the Secretary of the Interior standards for rehabilitation and are being considered for the issuance of a certificate of appropriateness. All projects are considered on a case-by-case basis. Presentations were received and distributed to the committee members for review prior to the scheduled meeting. Changes to the presentation after confirmation of receipt by Landmark staff are not shown today. The Historic Ohio City Design Review Committee makes recommendations to the Cleveland Landmarks Commission. These recommendations are not final actions. Depending on the scope of the project, submissions may be approved administratively or will need to be reviewed by the Cleveland Landmarks Commission. If that's the case, projects will be scheduled at the next available commission meeting after an action is taken. We have the Secretary of the Interior Standards for Rehabilitation available. Should there be questions and we need to look at them during the meeting. But without further ado, Nia, I'll hand it over to you. If you want to call the meeting to order, I can do roll.
Okay, good morning to everyone. I'm home with a potty training toddler, so I apologize in advance for any background noise, and will try to keep myself on mute as much as possible. But it's calling today's April 17th Historic Ohio City Design Review Advisory Committee meeting to order. Dan, please take the roll.
Right. Ms. Anderson?
Here.
Ms. Flaherty? Mr. Frondorf?
Here.
Ms. Land?
Here.
Mr. Miller? Mr. Persons? Mr. Talley? Mr. Trevisano?
Here.
And Ms. Marinucci.
Here.
All right, Madam Chair, we do have quorum. I guess without further ado, we'll move on to our first case, which is case HOC 25-16, 4757 Lorraine Avenue in the Lorraine Avenue Commercial Historic District. We have John Bennett from Brilliant Electric here to walk us through basically replacement signage for Metro Health buildings. So John, just let me know when you want me to click through the slides.
Okay, we'll do. Hi, I'm John Benedict, Brilliant Electric Sign Company. I'm joined by Sharon Schaefer from Metro Health. And we're presenting a sign package for replacement signs. And this is part of a complete rebranding for Metro Health. What you see here is the overall site map. You can go on to the next slide. And this is a context map, and these are all going to be used on the upcoming slides of the as you approach the facility. You can go on to the next slide and get a sense for what the current conditions are. Next slide, please. Next slide. And this will show some of the current signage that we will be replacing. Again, as we approach the campus. Next slide. Okay, what we have here is our first sign. And what we're doing is we're replacing the existing wall logo and letters with single face internally illuminated aluminum wall signs. The copy is routed out and backed up with acrylic graphics, all to be flush mounted to the fascia of the building. The face background and cabinet are to be painted with Matthews brushed aluminum. Next slide. This is showing the detail of how the construction of the signage and the mounting detail as it's mounted to the building. And the next slide, please. And this is another sign cabinet that's replacing an existing wall sign and letters. Similar construction, again, single face, internally illuminated, fabricated aluminum wall sign, again with the routed out lettering. So only the lettering and logo will illuminate. Same construction as the previous cabinet, just on the different elevation. Next slide, please. And again, it's the construction detail. You can move forward to the next slide. And this is showing the other, another one of the replacement wall cabinets. Again, it's the same type of signage in line with the new corporate branding for Metro Health. And it will be mounted on the fascia of that building. Same signage detail. Next slide, please. And this is the other elevation. Again, it's a similar type of construction and similar cabinet as the other signs. Next slide. And it's, again, the detail. You can move forward to the next slide. We're replacing the signage on the canopies with, these are not illuminated shoebox cabinets, but the lettering will be similar to what is shown on the internally illuminated cabinet signs that we're replacing, but these will not be illuminated. But they kind of fall in line with that same style branding and focus on the new branding. Next slide, please. Going to be the next with the other canopy signage for the Ohio City Health Center. And then I believe there's one more slide. And this is showing the existing signage that we are replacing. And, part of the initiative here is, and I think Sharon could probably speak to this better than I can, why we have chosen the cabinet signage as opposed to the individual wall signage and lettering.
I can definitely speak to that. We chose the cabinet signage particularly across the system as we're dealing with a variety of fascia. Some are brick, some are contemporary, some are much older. And as we were looking for a system that would be subtle and would transcend across all of the various types of architecture that we're dealing with, and then replacing it would help us cover where the existing cutout letters are and the damage that is done by them. So it would help cover any of that damage effectively.
Thank you, Sharon. Does the committee have any questions for us today?
Thank you for the presentation. I think I gave the same feedback when you guys replaced the signage for the dental clinic, in that I really would love for Metro Health to consider the use of the Spanish language on this facility, knowing the clientele that goes there. I don't know if there's an opportunity for like the area that says Ohio City Health Center to slide that text up a little bit and just add the same text in Spanish below. Seems like spatially that could work. I don't think that that's a like massive sticking point for me, but as a member of Urban Community School, and knowing how many families really use this facility, I think that having language inclusivity would be a great addition to this package, especially at the entrance so that people know where they're going, because it can be confusing when people are coming to the health clinic to not enter the school. There's many positives about the campus mentality, but it does cause confusion. I know it does for the school side too. So perhaps that's something to consider. And if you want to speak to that, you can, but I think that's my exclusive comment right now.
Okay.
And we have definitely been adding and considering, and again, a lot of it is the footprint and the space, definitely from an internal wayfinding perspective. Multilingual is, and we can definitely take a look at how to incorporate, and we're open to doing that on the exterior of the building, and follow up with our language translation services on the entrances specifically to see if we can't come up with something that would make sense.
That would be really appreciated. I think just as a parent, we sometimes get those alerts that like somebody tried to enter the school, and it's almost always someone who doesn't know that they're entering a school and not the health center.
And not the health center.
Exactly. So especially on that parking lot side. But I personally think spatially that seems to be like logically that makes sense. I know you guys have the wayfinding and the vinyls and all of that stuff inside of the health center. So I know that there is a lot of language inclusivity on that wayfinding level, but that's like really the issue that seems to happen for the school and for the users here. So thank you for the consideration.
Oh, thank you for the feedback.
Yeah, thank you.
Do any of my other colleagues have comments?
I don't, and if no one else either, I can make a motion. I move to approve as presented with the consideration given to Nia's comments.
I second.
All right, not seeing any other hands raised or hearing additional discussion. Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Frondorf?
Yes.
Ms. Lamb?
Yes.
Mr. Trubisano?
Yes.
And Ms. Marinucci?
Yes.
All right, Madam Chair, the motion passes unanimously. John, since seems pretty straightforward, just switching out the old signs for new signs with the new branding, and the committee didn't have any issues with it, we can just handle it administratively from here. So not sure if you guys have a pending permit yet, but I'm happy to sign off on it if there is one, or when it pops up, I can sign off on it then.
Yeah, we'll be submitting it officially to the building department ASAP. So
Okay,
really appreciate that, Daniel.
Yep, thank you.
Great.
Thank you,
to
everyone.
the committee. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
Thank
You
you.
too. Thanks.
Bye.
All right, next up in our last agenda item for the day is case HOC 25-17, 1889 West 25th Street in the Market Square Historic District. It is a mural on the side of the, I guess, soon to be former Soho building, soon to be Chipotle, around Gould Court in Lorraine. So I believe we have Abigail Arnold here. So yeah, if you want to walk us through your presentation, Abigail, just let me know when you want me to switch sides.
Okay, yeah, sounds good. Good to be back. We did the previous, just the whole idea of Chipotle being here earlier. So we got the details for the mural put together. Just took a little longer. So this is just a good site plan where the location is and the address and how the street runs across the front of that, and then the parking lot in the back. So we can switch slides. And here you get, up and down 25th Street both ways. So, going northbound, you're not really going to experience it. But southbound, you can see the white square on the left side of the image there. That's where it's going to be. And then the other view here is across the street. Yeah, exactly. That's going to be on that side there, next to that like patio area. So next slide. So here are just some close-ups. So the first two are what's there right now. There'll be some editing, or the patio will like be slightly different with which was shown previously for the Chipotle area. And then I show the 2016 site conditions because at the last meeting there was a request to make that color kind of come back instead of the white. So while there's a mural, there's some space that is going to be this color that we wanted to represent. Yeah, next slide. So just material so that the brick is going to be at the bottom to have something durable. It's going to be next to some bike racks. And then there'll be a stucco. So trying to just get that color that existed before. Then the light on the bottom right corner at the top, well, the light's the top, and the one at the bottom right corner with the red box around it. That's what's going to light and wall wash the mural from above. And then just the bottom is the vinyl specification. And we've gone through 3M and they've confirmed it's good for stucco, like, conforming to it a little bit and hearing. And they also confirmed that it's graffiti resistant since there's no PVC in it. So it's a little easy to clean. So that's good. Next slide. The good stuff. So this is the actual murals on the elevation. So you can see the brick at the bottom and then the space the mural would take up and the lights above. You can, just for context, you can see the updated Chipotle patio to the left there with the lower railing. And then on the right, there's like a medallion sign where they enter, which is similar to what Soho has right now. Yeah, we could probably go to the next one after that. These are all the perspective views, so you can kind of see how it feels in the building. You will kind of see it as you come from the parking lot in the back, and so it'll kind of help introduce the space of Ohio City. Actually, that's one opportunity we saw, is like, this is a really exciting moment in the space already. So to put something lively and thoughtful there is exciting. And then I think the top right is probably your best, like the most exciting view of it. You kind of see how it is as you drive by. So I think that's all I need to say.
And then, Madam Chair, before the committee gets into it, Jessica Beam from the Landmarks office was going to pinch hit for our public art coordinator, Tara Petrus, who couldn't be here. So, Jessica, you want to give the public art report?
Yes, relaying the info from Tara Petrus, our public art coordinator. The mural she is in support of. They also have support from Councilman McCormick for the installation. It is a heat applied vinyl mural, so it's not directly on there. And she did say that she did work with the applicant on a few different iterations and making sure that there wasn't any branding or signage or anything on the space, and being clear mural and not one of those questionable, is it a sign or is it not? But otherwise, full support from our public art coordinator.
Jessica. Um, I have a clarification question. Is it an existing stucco application on the building?
No,
Yeah.
we're gonna, well, there's an existing stucco, but it's falling apart. So in our upgrade, we are gonna reapply and do a more modern stucco that has a better long-term durability setup. So there's a double benefit coming here for sure.
Thank you. I figured that from what I could tell from the building, it looks like that. I just wanted to confirm. I think my question or my concern, while not related to the mural, a mural of this scale or in this location, it's is that we're applying a vinyl, which is going to be a air impermeable material, to a stucco in a historic brick facade. This seems like it would potentially compromise the drying out of the brick in the stucco.
So what the stucco itself will have a mesh, and that will be that the modern construction of that will have a water barrier with that. So we'll fluid apply that, and then that allows that'll happen is, instead of the stucco falling apart like it does now, that'll help keep it on there and adhered to the existing. It's not brick behind there. I think it's a stone, kind of like the front, but it's, been painted and had stucco on it over the history. So there's a lot of wear and tear to the original wall. I also
would that cause a drain? Are you saying that that would be an application like a drainage mat between the historic stone and the stucco that would allow moisture to
yes,
drain?
You put like a fluid applied, so instead of like a physical mat, that just like makes sure there's no penetrations to it, and that just keeps that moisture beaded outside of the masonry wall and going to the exterior. While the stucco itself, the finish itself, is not as permeable as, say, like an ephes, where the moisture really goes in because it's a plastery kind of setup, more cement concrete style. But it still does obviously have moisture because it's an exterior thing. So you use that fluid applied behind it to keep that coming down. And then the thin brick will have this, so the bottom where I have that like 3-foot band of thin brick, that'll be the same application. So you'll be able to, it won't be like a traditional brick. It'll just be an applied brick, and you'll still have that fluid barrier behind it. So so no moisture goes into the building that way. If that answers what you're asking.
I think so. I'm not sure if the onus of this committee is going to be to protect the original material. So I'm trying to understand if that's allowing any moisture within the brick or stone, whatever it might be, to shed and not compromise the integrity of that material.
It definitely won't. So that was more in our like original one when we were putting stucco on it. I had some of those details. I didn't plan to include that here, but I could definitely show that. There's just a detail I could show you how it has that water applied barrier behind there. And honestly, currently that wall that exists in its condition is not great. I think a building used to be there, so it's not like a wall that was like pretty at one point. It's a barrier wall. So
this was I guess originally a party wall. There was a building there up until late 90s, early 2000s, somewhere in there. But there was, I think, for the entire life of this building, there was something next to it.
Yeah, I really think what we're doing, beyond the mural aside, I think that step is a major upgrade, and we're doing the best thing we can for that condition, and it's going to be better than it has been. And then the mural just sits on top of
For the explanation.
that. Absolutely. I've been learning a lot about stucco lately. So.
Yeah, I think I'm with you in that I'm still a little bit confused also how the moisture in this party brick wall escapes to the exterior. Um, thank you for the explanation that you gave. I think without a visual, it's still like a little bit hard to. I know that water's not getting in to the building wall. I think that's how I'm understanding what you were explaining. But I'm just similarly concerned on if it's keeping water out, is it still allowing water to escape through the exterior? This being like a food service prep, I'm imagining there's going to be, even with hoods, there's still going to be quite a bit of moisture being generated on the inside of the building. So just wanted to kind of second Nia's concern here, and maybe because we might not have the detail here, this is something staff and landmarks can dig in a little bit deeper if they feel it's necessary. But thank you. I mean, otherwise everything else looks good.
I'm trying to think of I didn't obviously put the floor plan in this one, and I'm trying to remember off the top of my head it's a dining area. The kitchen's all the way, not even in that front area at all. It's only in the back, the lower portion of the building. But I think there it's just, I just can't remember. Oh, we actually have a wall there's a wall in front of that. There's a stud wall in front on the inside, stud wall, chipboard, a finish. So that exposure of that brick won't be inside, causing like a transfer, like to where that moisture goes in and out of it. It'll be covered, which is also the current condition it is now. So I think that's where that penetration barrier will happen on the inside. So it kind of encapsulates the brick, right? Now it's just inside, and the moisture's all outside of it. Is the intent.
Comments or questions from the committee? The motion.
I can make a motion. Make a motion to approve the mural with the consideration that staff review the materials application. Does that make sense?
I'll second that.
Dan, can you call the roll?
Just trying to get it all written down.
That's fine.
All right, Ms. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Frendorf,
Yes.
Ms. Lyon,
Yes.
Mr. Trivisano,
Yes.
and Ms. Marinucci.
Yes.
All right, Madam Chair, the motion passes unanimously. Abigail, I think we have you scheduled for next week's, or penciled in for next week's Landmarks Commission meeting. Since it's public art, it has to go to full commission. So we'll be reaching out to you about that, probably through Jessica, but thank you very much.
Should I include any detail on that wall for that meeting?
I mean, if you do you have like a section or something handy
I
that
could
you
put
could
that
drop
together
in?
very quickly.
Yeah, if you could just drop that in at the end of this presentation, that we can
Okay.
swap them out before we post it to the commission. We want to get the agenda out by the end of the day today, since we're closed tomorrow. So
Okay.
I'll add,
I'll-
Abigail, you've got until Monday to get any changes to your presentation in. And I'll have an email that has that too. So you've got a little bit of time.
Okay, excellent. I'll take it.
Jessica's nicer than I am, apparently.
I know, geez.
right. Well, thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.
And Madam Chair, that is all we have on the agenda for today. That's all for these certificates of appropriateness.
Great. Do we have any other business to discuss?
Not on my printed or unofficial agenda.
Great. Unless anyone else has any thing that they want to talk about as a group, then I can adjourn the meeting. No? Okay. Calling today's Historic Ohio City Design Review Advisory Committee meeting adjourned.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody.
You guys have a good holiday weekend.